And now begins the double unit on pronouns. A pronoun is a word that, basically a word that takes place of a noun. Okay, so we use pronouns in three different cases. We can use them as subjects, as objects, or as possessives that show ownership. A subject pronoun can be the subject of a clause, a subject of a sentence, a subject of a dependent clause, which we've talked about a little bit and we'll talk about more. In the example over to your right, it says, if he goes, she will cry. He is a subject, the subject of the verb goes, and she is a subject of the sentence, the subject of the verb will cry. So both of them are subject pronouns. An object pronoun can be used as a direct object, an indirect object, or the object of a preposition. So basically not the subject, okay, and not showing ownership. For example, my dog licked me. Me is the direct object of the sentence, and so it would be wrong to say my dog licked I. It would also sound weird. And so me is an objective pronoun put in an objective place, okay, as the direct object. Next example, Mia gave him a Valentine's Day card. Mia is the subject of the sentence. A Valentine's Day card is the direct object, and him is the indirect object of the sentence. Him, whoever him is, he is receiving the card. Then the next example says, Diego didn't know it was from her. Okay, so her in that sentence is the object of the preposition from. And in addition to being a subject or an object, a pronoun could be possessive. A possessive pronoun is used in place of a possessive noun. So for example, Tito's, and we could replace that with his. So Tito's store is open. Or I could say his store is open, meaning Tito. Okay? So next I want to talk about reflexive and intensive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns and intensive pronouns both end in either self or selves. Actually, they're the exact same words, just used in a different way. A self is for singular, like myself, himself, and selves is for plural, like yourselves, ourselves, like that. A reflexive pronoun reflects the action back onto the subject, and it's necessary to complete the meaning of the sentence. So in this example over here on the right, I talk to myself. So myself reflects back on the subject I, and if I take the word myself out, I talk to, that sentence doesn't work. We need the word myself to complete the meaning of the sentence. Okay, an intensive pronoun, using the same words, intensive pronoun, not necessary to the meaning of a sentence, is used to emphasize a noun. Here's one example, do it yourself. Okay, do it means the same thing as do it yourself. I just want to emphasize, I'm not doing it, I want you to do it yourself. Okay? And the noun that it's emphasizing is actually not in the sentence because it's an imperative, and the noun that's emphasizing is you, the subject of the sentence. The queen herself will serve the guests. Okay, in that one, I'm emphasizing the word queen because normally the queen does not serve her guests, at least in American and European culture. The queen doesn't serve herself, herself or her guests. If I take the word herself out, the queen will serve the guests. The sentence means the same thing and it works. But I want to emphasize that the queen is doing it. A lot of time that's used when somebody either is of too high of a status to do something but they're doing it anyway, and like in this case, or if someone is refusing or not likely to do something, and I want to emphasize it like this. The noun that a pronoun refers to is called its antecedent. Almost all pronouns have antecedents. We'll get into a list of pronouns next time, in the next video, that do not have antecedents, or do not have exact antecedents that are at least mentioned. Anyway, so it says, let's cheer for Motagua because they always win. You don't have to agree with the sentence if you don't like Motagua. That's the first sentence that came to my head. I don't know why. But here the word they is a pronoun, and it's referring to Motagua. So Motagua is the antecedent. I could say, let's cheer for Motagua because Motagua always wins. And that would be okay. But I chose to put a pronoun here. And you know what I'm talking to. I don't mean let's cheer for Motagua because Olympia always wins. That doesn't make any sense. So we need to be aware that the antecedent is going to be the obvious choice of the word that the pronoun refers to. There will be another video on pronouns, but this one will help you do the pages I'm assigning now. So happy working!